That is really an interesting question. It's difficult to put it in one word, but performance. Yeah. Performance.
It's amazing, because there's a lot here.
Marvelous, incredible, outstanding.
Stimulating.
Magic. It's a magic place.
The beginning of the theater is, I think, my favorite time. I talked to Donovan Marley, said, are you interested in coming to Solvang? And that's when it all, the snowball started rolling, and the results are these guys that got involved and made it happen. And it was a grand experience all the way around. It was very exciting.
I'm Paul Hamburg, and I had a shoe store here in town, and I got involved because I thought it was a good thing for the community to bring the theater from Santa Maria down here. And so my memory is not as good as Royce's. I can't remember what he said about me, but anyway, it must be right.
I'm Royce Llewellyn. In 1973, in the summer, I was a lawyer practicing law in the town of Solvang. Paul Henberg, my friend here, had a shoe store in Solvang. Bob Raleigh was a teacher and administrator at the Solvang Elementary School. Summer of '73, the tourist business was great. In October, the Arab oil boycott hit. Earl Peterson, architect, had an office up over what's now Mortensen's Bakery. He looked down Copenhagen Drive, didn't see a soul, and thought we needed to do something about this. And he had heard about PCPA, Pacific Conservatory of the Performing Arts. He contacted Donovan Marley. Early in January, on a rainy day, Donovan came down and spent 8 hours with Earl walking around the town. In the meantime, I think Bob had also talked to Donovan and gotten him excited about the possibility of coming.
It took somebody forceful like Donovan to get this theater started in the first place. And then when he heard about the opportunity of having a theater down here, he was extremely excited about it. And of course, it's the folks here who really got busy and got it done.
Part of Donovan Marley's genius was to always envision and kind of ask people for something that wasn't reasonable, but that was kind of beautifully unreasonable, and to say, should this be possible? No, but can we do it? Absolutely.
Plays, drama, musicals.
And good plays can be seen over and over again. They're funny, they're thought-provoking, and they're really well done. And it seems to me that over the years that I've been here, the acting and the singing are just getting better and better.
But each one is just a new experience, and to see a professional company like PCPA in a wonderful theater like this. And by the way, this is a great venue. If you haven't been here, you've got to come to the Solvang Festival Theater, because this is about as much fun as you can have on a summer evening.
Every year the board of directors puts on a barbecue and an entire night for families. And these are families that generally either can't afford or for whatever reason don't usually go to the certainly live theater. They bring their kids, and the kids play all over the yard here, and they're just tumbling. And then it's time to go in and see the show after they've eaten. And a few years ago we had Beauty and the Beast. It was brought down by PCPA. And those kids, after all of that activity and everything, went in that theater and you could have heard a pin drop for an hour and a half. They were just absolutely mesmerized. And that was probably as satisfying of an experience that I had while I was with the board of directors.
Brilliance.
Pride.
Doc Parsons, Leonard Parsons, had really been bugging us. He wanted the theater to buy his lot on 2nd Street. We went out, took a drive around the town and thought, you know, that site that Leonard's offering us, a pretty good site. We could start from scratch and build a theater there.
The physical work itself to build a theater space in 58 days is absolutely astonishing. I mean, just to get the construction to happen.
When we were doing the construction, like out here, we had the walls built for the bomb in the back, and it was all open, and then the benches were going up, but it had to all be backfilled. And so we were hauling gravel out here and dumping it in the middle of the street, blocking that,
the road.
and then bringing a loader in through the back part here and dumping everything up into this. And, you know, they wouldn't let you do all that now. What we did is originally they built up the dirt in here underneath all the seating, all the way around. And then then they cut it away on the back part. And then we put in block walls, and there's 2 block walls, and there's a tunnel that runs the full distance all the way around. And that's your vomitorium, feeds these 2 entrances here onto the stage. And so we did that until we got all the way back down in here to the stage area, and then the stage area here was the last part that we poured.
He apparently was there every day. And when the construction workers would arrive, Donovan would be there having slept in his car.
We set it up that we took all the tradespeople and subcontractors to Santa Maria to see
In a bus.
what was happening up there, what was counting on us finishing this, getting this up to a certain point where they could have shows. And that, you know, it probably increased our production by at least a third.
There was really an integration of the loading in of the theater equipment and ultimately the set while construction was still going on, because of course it was they were already in rehearsal for these plays when this building that they were going to produce them in began getting built. I mean, that's what's so amazing, is sets and costumes and plays and performance were getting rehearsed at the same time that this building was getting built, and that's what's astonishing. So they were loading in theatrical lighting equipment while they were still framing out the space. I love this. You can see the guy climbing the pole, hanging lights for a coming production. You know, and this is the theater is still being constructed. It's fantastic.
The people that volunteered and helped and put their heart and soul into it, you know, to get there, just even in that first summer, was terrific, because we started in June, middle of June, and we opened on the 8th of August. And it would have been impossible to do any other place, I think, other than here.
That afternoon, we had a big Rice-a-Gill party that everybody in the valley attended. It was great because we had green concrete, but we had the Danish dancers dancing on stage, and the wreath up above, and refreshments for anybody that showed up. It was great. It's a good thing that Erling and I were as young as we were, because we didn't realize that what we were about to do probably wasn't supposed to be accomplished. It's a time that I don't think either one of us would trade in our lives, because of it was exciting and stressful and fulfilling and all those things all combined together. We got to know a lot of people in the process that have been lifelong friends. One time I remember him looking at me and saying, you know, if we don't finish this, we're going to have to leave town.
It's true.
Well, pleasure's pretty good.
I'd probably say enjoyment.
So part of the magic of live theater is transforming people. It starts here. The ritual starts here. When you come in and you do your warm-up, you do your physical warm-up, and then you come here and you start the transformation.
Unquestionably, there's something about performing outside on the festival stage that is magical. It's magical for the audience and for the performer.
The weather situation is I mean, there are outdoor theaters, and the outdoor aspect is probably the biggest challenge, but you know, it's also kind of the advantage. It's one of the very best things about the theater and one of the worst things about it. So,
but I think there's an ambiance about outdoor theater that nothing else has, because it's summer and it's fun.
And there's always a feeling, because of the weather, that when you're on stage, the audience is as much a part of that experience and the adventure as you are. I've been on stage when it's been raining, and to see the audience hang in there, be out there and wait for the rain to stop, you know that they're a part of it. They're a part of that magic.
It's worked out. One thing, it means that the theater can have make a little money renting blankets, because a lot of people just can't believe that it's going to be that cold, even though they're told.
Professionalism.
So that partnership with PCPA has been one that has brought Shakespeare, and it's brought Broadway musicals, and it's brought other straight plays, it's brought original works, and all of that happening right here in Solvang.
So the community gets to see all this amazing talent come through, this young talent on the edge of discovering itself.
We have here in Solvang a theater as good as any you'll find any place. I mean, anywhere in New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, our theater is equal to those. And it's a delightful experience just to be there and see the theater.
Well, the stories that they tell, the music and the dancing is just fantastic to watch. It's very professional. And I think that that's what people miss sometimes. They just think, oh, well, it's another, from a college, another group of kids who like to be on the stage. And this is really, really professional, and the training is professional, and so that's what I feel.
When we had Les Mis, we had a fellow that was on the board for many years, and a friend. He'd seen it in New York. And he says this production was better than the one in New York. So it's damn good theater.
Happiness.
Lots of enjoyment.
It was a great community activity, great community support. But the one thing about it is it's one great thing to build it. It's even harder, I think, to maintain it. And the Solvang Theater Fest board and supporters have done a great job, I think, of doing that, and it's still a big job.
As chair, one of the first things I did was enter into a negotiation with PCPA to talk about some sort of revenue sharing plan in which they would participate. Part of their ticket cost would go towards helping Solvang Theater Fest maintain this theater. And after 2 years of negotiations, we made that happen. And it actually turned out to be a great thing. PCPA's relationship with Solvang Theater Fest and Solvang Theater Fest's relationship with PCPA is never stronger and is continuing to prosper and build.
I would say for all of you that have not served on the Solvang Theater Fest board or in any way, I encourage you to do it. It takes people like you to jump in to keep this going.
Time on the board was an incredible learning experience. All the different ways that the board participates, both from flipping hamburgers for Red Coat Night to making large decisions about the way we are going to use the finances.
The theater needed to be improved. That was the main thing. We were band-aiding it for all these years, and it was about time that we had to really raise some money to do that right.
We did a feasibility study to see whether the community was willing to support us financially in rehabilitating the theater.
The campaign ran, and we were able to meet our goal.
Seeing the look on patrons' faces as they use the new restrooms, that was a wonderful thing. Going from the huge long lines for the women to, fairly quick.
It's the relationships, the friendships, and the people that you get to work with on this particular board. And I think that, those are friendships that I'll have for a long time, and I've really enjoyed that part of it.
I found that I think I could do things I didn't think I could do.
All in, this has been a wonderful experience, and I wouldn't have traded it for anything. Community. This theater is about the community. It's a community-supported theater that was built by the community, and it continues based on community, the fact that the community cares about it.
I think it's energizing in a community. It isn't just tourism, and it isn't just the locals. It's something happening that wakes people up and makes them think and interact, and it's always good for a community to try something that everybody can participate in.
I think it's just a tremendous facility, and I've just been so grateful for all of the different performing arts experiences I've been able to experience here.
As a play, as is theater, I think that here in the Valley, there are not that many choices. And there was Santa Barbara, of course. But right here, for this community, I think it's just an enormous asset.
We're property owners here in town and businessmen, and I think the theater is one of the most vital assets this little town of Solvang has.
One word, huh? Touching souls. 2 words.
Gathering.
A few years ago, PCPA cut back to doing 4 plays in the summertime so that we could do different kinds of performances in the spring and in the fall.
What this board is trying to do increasingly every year in a planned and careful way is to provide more opportunities, cultural opportunities for the community, and that can take the form of children's programs in the theater. It can take the form of concerts that can be fundraisers for other local nonprofits, which is a big help to them. It can take the form of showcases for young talent, spoken word events. We have not utilized the theater in every extent that we could have or can, but we're doing that more and more each year. So it's a carefully planned process of finding out what works in the theater off the summer season and what doesn't.
We had Joan Baez last year. We had a couple of very great concerts, and I'd like to see more of that take place.
We want people to experience live performing arts. That's what our mission is. For everybody, not just for the people that can afford the bigger price tickets.
A glorious treasure.
Theater should do more than just entertain people, although that in itself is a reasonable goal. But theater should actually move people.
Erling and Sue Poles, Bob Raleigh, Earl Peterson, Judge Llewellyn, Royce Llewellyn. They thought it really important to bring art to our community. Not only because there was an economic benefit, but they also saw it as an important aspect to expanding who our community is. Bringing art to the community for them was a pretty big deal. And so all these people got together and said, well, let's build a theater. And they located a piece of property and they did it.
Well, I think live theater tells a story. The great literature of the world is available for us and our kids, the great music of the country and the world is ours to come see. And the people here in the town made that happen in the valley. They caused it to happen, and I think that's an absolutely wonderful thing.
And the love that people have for this theater, it's evident every year when you come to a patrons event and you see people, the same people, happy to see their friends, happy to see their colleagues, and able to exchange stories. I mean, just how excited people got when they were asked to participate in this video. People really want to tell the story. It means a lot to them.
I tell people that we were really lucky to live through this experience because in that small time span, in this little town, it was like a little Camelot.